From the locker room at the M&M Multimedia Studios, this is the Six Man Podcast. When it comes to technology, these guys are running the fast break. Now, straight off the bench to save the game, it's your technology champions, Mike Early and Alex Johnson.
Welcome, Alex, and welcome everyone to another episode of the Six Man Podcast. We are your technology champions. If you've listened to us before, thank you and welcome back. Please like and share. If this is your first time, thank you very much for coming, and let us break it down what this is all about. As technology changes at a fast break pace, it's very difficult for any business owner or IT team to keep up. So in this six-man podcast series, we're coming off the bench as your technology advisors and bringing leaders and special guests to help navigate the confusion in technology today. We break it all down, help the business owners understand the value and the challenges of these technologies and what it means to their business. So, if you want to hear about technology, please follow us weekly as we bring these special guests in to talk technology. If you have any questions or feedback and would like to contact the show, you can email us at info@sixmanpodcast.com, or you can leave us a text or message at 239-215-4200. So, Alex, welcome. How are you today?
I'm great, buddy. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Today we are talking wireless. We're talking
wireless what, though?
Wireless 4G, 5G.
Right.
We're talking all the Gs.
Yeah, well, you know when you just talk wireless, right? We get a lot of confusion. No, I have wireless. I don't need that.
Right. And we're going to break it down. We have Todd Holsombeck joining us from Broad Sky Networks. He's going to give us the rundown on all things wireless.
Nice.
Obviously, wireless, as you just said, is a very big part of our everyday life, right? We have calling, we have text messaging, we have social media. Everything revolves around this little piece of technology we have at our hips, right? Yep. But when it pertains to business, we really truly talk about business continuity, right? And it has evolved, and wireless has evolved greatly, and it continues to evolve. Not all wireless, as we have found out, and dipping in this business continuity, is created equally. And Todd's going to tell more about that with us.
Just so everybody out there hears, because I got confused when we first started talking about this. When we talk wireless, we're talking wireless internet service, not just wireless in network within your office. This is bringing the internet, the broadband internet, to your office when your Comcast goes down, when your CenturyLink goes down, right? And we all know that with Comcast providing a majority of the SMB services for internet in this marketplace, right? There are occasionally some issues.
A lot of issues.
Okay. But there are going to be issues anywhere, right? I mean, people cut lines, people cut circuits, right? So you're going to have issues. Right. It's how are they handled, right? Now, I do know Comcast seems to have a lot, but if they're our only provider around here, people get a little tired of the outages. So most businesses can't afford to not run on internet, right? I mean, everybody has a cloud presence, whether that's their point of sale, that's their database, that's their CRM, that's their
phone.
Their phone. Very good. Look at you, little salesman of the month. Booyah. So the biggest question, I get from clients, okay, so how do you, regarding wireless internet, what does it do and how does it keep my business continuity? How does it keep me up and running?
Right. Can your business even afford to go down, right? This day and age, everything is online, right? Your email, CRMs, everything that you talk about when it comes to business is up, right? Based on a study by Cisco and AppDynamics, the average cost per hour of downtime for a small to medium-sized business, and this is a big one, is between $8,500 and $74,000 per hour. That's crazy. That's a lot of money, right?
That is a lot of money.
Can you actually, when you look at it, even on the low end of $8,500, right? And you got to think about it. You start adding up all your employees, their time, they're sitting around doing nothing, they're talking, they're chit-chatting, they're going to eat the donuts. They don't care. Right. But you as the business owner care because they're not doing their job, right? They're not making you money, right? So that $8,500 adds up really quick, like.
Yeah. Well,
so how can you forget? How can you even afford any downtime.
Right. Well, one is, after you just read that number off to me, Mike, I need a pay raise. There's something, holy mackerel, 8,500. What was that high number?
74,000.
74,000. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So, today's cloud-based business environments, right? They demand always on, always ready internet, right? And how do you make that happen?
Well, you do that with a good quality wireless, right? We're not talking about Wi-Fi because everyone gets confused.
Right, you're right.
The Wi-Fi is what connects you to your devices to a firewall or an internet box that takes you out to the internet.
Correct.
This is a wireless, basically utilizes the cellular technology, whether it's 4G, and we're going to talk about that, and 5G and all that stuff, out to the internet and provides that internet so your business, when Comcast goes down, automatically fails over and goes out there, right?
That's right.
We talk about, a lot of the big businesses would have multiple carriers. They would have a Comcast, and then they would bring CenturyLink in, where they had fiber, and then they would use Comcast broadband as their failover just in case.
Right.
Well, a small to medium-sized business, depending on the size, can't afford that.
Right.
It's expensive. But BroadSky, which we're going to talk about, and there's other carriers as well, but they've taken that technology and brought it down where they can actually give you good quality speeds, up to 40 megs or more sometimes, so your business can actually work.
Right.
And they brought that technology, and they do it very cost effectively. But we still have businesses out there say, yeah, I don't need that.
So their product, and I think I already know I do know the answer to this, but their product is far different than the MiFis that you find in the world, the little hotspots through the cellular companies and stuff,
absolutely. Right. Because, and Todd will get into that with us about the difference because, like I said earlier, not all wireless is created equally.
That's right. Absolutely.
And
we
you have
certainly
to
have seen that.
Right. And you got to make sure that you're getting a good quality internet connection. Just because you have a wireless connection out to the internet and it only gives you 1 meg of internet speed,
right,
which is crazy to me because years ago when I was selling internet when it first started, 1.5 meg of internet was great.
You sold it when it first came out? Do you know Al Gore?
I don't.
Oh, he invented it,
Yeah, I know he
Okay,
did.
just checking.
With that said, let's bring our guest in.
Yeah,
right?
excellent.
Todd Holsombeck from BroadSky. He's served in the Navy.
We love our veterans.
That's right. Thank you very much for your service. Operating a nuclear reactor on a Los Angeles-class submarine.
Stud.
He is a telecom veteran since 1996. He's almost as old as I am. Sold VoIP services and has had a lot of phones thrown at him. He's been at BroadSky for almost 2 years. He loves creating solutions that solve business problems, and we have a lot of problems when it comes to internet. The one, the only, the myth, the legend, Todd Holsombeck.
Hello.
There's a cheer for him.
Hey, buddy, how are you today?
I'm fantastic. You guys did great on that. I don't think you need me. Y'all know what you're talking about.
You've taught us well.
You taught us well. So welcome to the Six Men Podcast, Todd. How are you doing today?
I'm good, other than it looks like I need a little makeup for my forehead. I think of the shiny spot on there, but we'll work on it and we'll get through it.
Mike must have dolled his up a little bit. You guys got 8 heads, right? I mean, not 4 heads.
That's why I like Mike. We got the same hairstylist.
Well, the crazy thing about that is one of the feedbacks that we've gotten from previous episodes is, why am I so pale and you are so tan?
Because I'm homeless living down by the river. I do live in Southwest Florida, FYI, and sunscreen.
So, Todd, before you came on, we were talking about internet continuity, business continuity, really. Right. It's not really internet continuity. And how, a lot of our customers have Comcast broadband, and there's a lot of issues, right? We had issues earlier today when we first, at our office, right? The internet was down, right? I mean, we had issues. We couldn't get on that Zoom call that we were looking to do, and because our internet was down. We need to have one of those things that Todd's going to talk about. So how can a good wireless failure help a business keep connected?
That is the question, and that is why we exist. And we've been around for since 2003, providing alternatives. One of the things that you guys were talking about earlier is there are competitors and there are solutions that you can buy direct from the carrier that are more consumer grade, but we want to talk about business continuity.
Absolutely.
That means that we need to look at a redundant path first off. So sometimes when you're talking about a fiber or a cable, they may be coming into the same telco closet. They may have the same trench in the outside. We need something that's totally redundant. So you guys described it perfectly. We put a business grade router on site with our customers that they plug into, WAN port 2. And so if it's going out Comcast most of the time and it can't, they just set their firewall. It automatically goes out through us. And then we send it out through a cellular carrier. The way we do that and the way we think we differentiate ourselves is what we call the gold standard in wireless. And the gold standard is really just our experience looking for quality solutions and doing it. And if you don't mind, I'll take 2 or 3 minutes and tell you what we mean by gold standard.
Absolutely.
Please.
So what we do is, now we like to think we've got a pretty good sales team, but really what we are is a fantastic engineering team in the background with a good sales organization. So every customer that we deploy LTE or LTEA wireless on, we're working to get them the fastest speed possible, the lowest latency possible, which becomes kind of a big deal, and I'll talk about that in a minute, and the highest quality signal. Now, how do we do that? We built a deep experience with some crowdsourced data that's out there. So when a customer gives us an address, we can look and see, and we're not, looking at T-Mobile's map that says excellent service, which it may or may not have. We actually look at some signal reporting. We're going to put the best carrier at the best location, and we use all 3 carriers, AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon Wireless. Not only are we going to use the best, but we're going to put a backup SIM in there. So you have 2 carriers in every deployment. If that tower happened to be congested or gets congested over time, we can always switch over to a second one. So that dual SIM is big. We're also really deep in understanding the latest equipment technology, the latest routers out. And guys, we're going to talk more about it, but these radio capabilities that they put on these routers are changing on a quarterly basis. Some of our competitors are still selling deployments that are 4 or 5 years old. They were, in fact, as we get these higher deployments, we can get those higher speeds you guys were talking about so that we have something that's useful on the internet. As an interesting aside to that, what we've seen since Corona days started, a lot of people working from home, a lot of people doing Zoom and Teams and whatnot, upload speeds become really a lot more important, even on that single user that's remote. We can help you get that upload speed a good bit better if need be. We also, if you have multiple locations for a company, we can do what we call cross-carrier pooling. So we talked about that low-cost solution with a 1 gig plan for each location. But now you've got 5 gigs. If you have 5 or more, one gig each, you've got 5 gigs in a pool before you ever have to look at overages and cost from that standpoint. We hate charging our customers the overage fees. We have a dedicated data team sit there and monitor your usage, get you into the right plan, and adjust it on a monthly basis. We're going to adjust it back down when you don't need it and keep it in that backup mode. So all those things combined, we like to talk about that being the gold standard in wireless, how we deploy it, the routers we use, and the support that we provide, we think makes a large difference there.
Awesome. So the coach just signaled a timeout. We have to take a brief break to bring on our sponsors. Got to pay the bills.
Got to pay the bills.
So here we go.
Hello.
Hello never sounded so good with Ring Central, the leading provider of business cloud communications. Our powerful, easy-to-use platform provides secure and reliable business communications at your fingertips. Easily manage and route your calls, message your team, switch to video, communicate, collaborate, and connect via any mode, any device, and any location. Make Ring Central your MVP. Message, video, and phone together. Ring Central. Work together from anywhere.
Hey, welcome back to the Sixth Man Podcast. I'm here with my boss, Mr. Michael Early, and we've got Todd Holsombeck. He is going to finish this conversation on wireless internet. Todd, thanks for coming back to the show with us. We've been talking about this gold standard, right? Tell me some of the differences in regards to the routers that you provide, that BroadSky provides, versus the non-business class or the preferred type of routers. Can you tell us some of the differences between those?
Absolutely. So we'll go quick, but we'll go from consumer grade, which we've all seen the little MiFi hockey pucks you can get at the AT&T Verizon store. Hey, they're cool for a single use, but they don't have paddle antennas, so they're not going to get. They don't have external antennas on them, so they don't get as good a signal. And from there, they're by definition smaller and have smaller processors on them, so they can't get better throughput, and they got effectively no security on them. Then we go to some of our competitors. A lot of them are using what's called a Cat4 router. Now, in this case, the cats we're talking about are not like Cat5 cabling or stuff you've heard. Really, in this case, the lingo is how many frequencies can the radio aggregate, or how many can it accept? So a Cat4 router looks out and it can only pick up a single frequency from a cellular tower that it's connected to via SIM card. A Cat6 router can pick up two signals, and it will, and it's really what you're doing is kind of bandwidth aggregation. You're sending your data out both those pipes, and it's making it net effectively faster. What we do, what we've done with some of your customers, a great example, is upgraded that router to a Cat18. That Cat18 router can accept 4 frequencies, and that really changes the throughput. So, for example, a Cat6 deployment, 20 to 40 meg down, 5 to 15 meg upload speed. And you upgrade it into that Cat 18 level, now 50, 60, 70, 80 down, 25 to 35 on the upload speed. Those speeds in the world we live in with cloud and Zoom meetings and everything else make all the difference in a reasonable user experience. Does that answer your question for you?
Yeah. And those upload speeds, most people think, because Comcast has their 300 megs down, but they only have 25 megs up.
Right.
That's the majority of what your traffic is. A lot of it is upload, sending out emails, data to your CRMs, things like that. And again, you said Zoom calls and things like that. It's very imperative that you have a good upstream on that. Yep. And that's where this is a differentiator. It's a totally game changer. Yep. When you're talking about wireless and against I hate, Comcast does a good solution, but it's not as powerful, right? It's not the LeBron James of wireless, right? It's, I don't know, college player. I don't know. We'll just throw it out there.
Don't want to offend anybody.
Yeah, I don't want to offend anybody.
It's the Ben Simmons.
He's a great defensive player.
Yeah, whatever. Hey, any Philly fans out there? Hey, how about that Ben Simmons? I'm sure he's going to Cleveland next month. So
Probably.
BroadSky hits their free throws.
Absolutely.
Very good. Bravo.
Right. So when we're talking wireless, all we hear on TV is 5G. 5G. We got the best network. 5G. Right. And we do get a lot of our customers ask, where are we at with 5G?
Right.
And I'm like, it's not there yet.
It's not there
It's
yet.
getting there slowly but surely, but it's not there yet.
But they advertise, like all the carriers, they say they've got 5G and they've got 5G.
So, Todd, talk to me. Where are we at with the 5G, for going from 4G to 5G?
I can't remember her last name. McKenna, the Saturday Night Live, is on there talking about giving away 5G phones.
Yeah.
You would think that it was ubiquitous and we were going to get a 5G chip implanted in our head to operate any day now, but we're not quite there yet. We are getting there, and it is it's happening quickly. But let's segregate it into two separate flavors, if you will, of 5G. The first flavor is gigahertz speed, and it's gigahertz frequency as well. That's what Verizon has deployed in some places. So, and I mean, I'm saying this facetiously, but it's kind of halfway true. If you live in an airport like Tom Hanks in that movie, The Terminal, or if you rent office space in an NFL stadium, you can get a gigahertz up and down with less than 10 milliseconds of latency, and you can do remote brain surgery. It's awesome, but it's got some issues with deployment in that the where that frequency is so high, it won't even penetrate a pane of glass. So you're really going to have to do some engineering to deploy that properly. You're going to have external antennas and whatnot, and Verizon's going to have to put millions upon millions of these out there to deploy it. So we think that's coming, but it's going to take the rest of this decade to get to where we get the gigahertz. Now, the stuff that AT&T and T-Mobile are selling now, T-Mobile really more so, and there's a reason. When they merged with Sprint, they took that Sprint network where they didn't absolutely need it to fill holes to make calls, and they've converted that over into 5G network and added LTE capacity there, and we'll talk about what they're doing. But that's in the 600 megahertz spectrum, or sub 600 megahertz. They call it the sub 6 spectrum. And by the way, Verizon is starting to deploy that now so that they can do those commercials and tell you they have it everywhere. Really, it's just kind of an upgrade. And let's talk about the upgrade that it is. Those cell towers were out there, and cell towers were propagating or spitting out 6, 8, 14 different frequencies on them, depending on the tower. And what this sub 6 5G is just a way to aggregate even more than we talked about on a Cat 18 router. Now you can aggregate up to 7 signals.
Gotcha.
That's what we're calling 5G.
So it's kind of
really variable.
It's a fake 5G.
It is. But now the good news is it can get you some pretty good speeds. We see 130, 140, 150 meg down, wow, and 35, 40 meg up. That's a good connection. And, absolutely, make no bones about it. Over time, they're going to come after, particularly the residential user. That's a good enough circuit for a home circuit. May not be good enough for a business circuit, but it's there. I don't want to go too long, but I do want to tell you, we think it's really important that customers understand and have proper expectations. We don't have that deep historical knowledge of signals at every location, so I can't, my engineers can't immediately go, oh, great candidate for 5G when we see an address. Right. We can certainly deploy. If we don't get anticipated speeds, we can retro back and send a 4G LTE router. And by the way, sometimes we see the 4G doing a little bit better than the 5G, depending on the carrier and aggregation. So 5G's coming. It's here in some places. You just don't want to expect to, like I said, be doing remote brain surgery next week.
Absolutely, right? Unless you stay at a Holiday Inn Express, right?
Exactly.
Hey, so the overall theme of this, right, is you need internet, right? Today's business is cloud centric, right? You must have internet. So Todd, if that's the case, what verticals are you seeing wireless internet as a viable, great solution? What verticals are you working in mostly, or do you see your clients working in mostly with this product set?
That's a great question. The easy answer is pretty much now in the 21st century in 2021, if you've got a business that's got a license and it's exchanging funds, you probably need 5G, 4G backup internet for that redundant path. That being said, some places where we do business, you guys were talking about revenue numbers. I didn't have a number that big, but I was talking with a guy that owns like 24 Arby's restaurants, and he knew for a second, from a revenue standpoint for him, $683 is what he averaged for every hour he was down per location. And by the way, in that instance, we didn't need to do Cat 6 because all he wanted the backup internet for was to swipe his credit card. That's a really easy example to show you that retail is very powerful. Hospitality becomes very powerful. We do a lot in construction, particularly for remote trailers and those kind of folks where they can't get data, or by the time the circuit's going to be dropped, they're already through with the project. Yep. We're talking more commercial than we are residential. Yep. Do banking and finance, we do a ton. In Florida, we're doing healthcare where they've got, and by the way, our circuits are HIPAA compliant, where they've got circuits they need for backup. We do a ton of business with medical. I've got a medical clinic I can't publicly name yet. I'm working on getting a referral, but they've got 35 clinics in Florida that we're their backup circuit. Wow. So those are some great verticals as well.
Awesome. So we're going to switch gears just a little bit regarding the wireless. Recently, the FCC, Todd, has allowed the local exchange carriers to stop taking care of their copper infrastructure. So the fax line that you have, the
elevators, right?
elevator lines, they can say, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. Or they can charge a lot more money because it costs a lot of money to keep that old copper infrastructure. Tell us a little bit about what BrotSky's got going on to help the local line with their security, elevator lines, all that stuff.
Absolutely. Plain old telephone service or POTS lines are being phased out, and we are seeing customers who are getting the letter, dear sir, by Labor Day, you better have something else to do with that number. And we see it on fire alarms, security alarms, elevators, the extra line you had for out-of-band management for companies that use that kind of stuff. And what we've done is we've found a solution that is fire marshal approved, works, has the battery backup, everything you need for it. And it's there's an install involved, but then we're making the call via the cellular network. This works. The prices, as you say, I saw a customer who was paying $382 a month for a telephone line in Kentucky. Wow. The numbers are getting crazy. They're going to get crazier, and then you're not even going to have the option of this. So folks that have that legacy gear that they need to keep connected, a POTS solution, POTS in a box, is a lot of times you'll call it. We do really well, and we do it really cost effective. It's almost like it's the olden days. A single line is $49 a month. Multi-lines are $39 a month. That's like my phone bill was 15 years ago. So that's a pretty good price.
That's a great price.
Yeah, no doubt, huh?
And if you are a business property manager out there that has elevators in your building, security systems, things like that, please call Alex because he can sit down with you and with Todd and review everything and hopefully save you some money and get you compliant and up and running.
Safe. No kidding. Hey, so Todd, the other buzzword, and I know you and I have spoken about this a time or two, Internet of Things, right? How does BrotSky and your incredible technology, how does it play into IoT, Internet of Things?
That's a great question. We were playing in the Internet of Things all along because by definition, a lot of this stuff is mobile and we provide the connectivity with this LTE data. But in December, we were acquired by a company called IntelliSite. It started in California. They're based out of Fort Mill, South Carolina, outside of Charlotte. And they've got 20 years of experience building advanced solutions. Now, we've all heard this buzzword IoT, and I like to just point out everybody's, what is it? Is it your Nest thermostat in your house? Is it managing a fleet of trucks? Is it managing your manufacturing facility? And the answer is yes. Yes. And that's what makes it very difficult. Yep. Or what makes it difficult before, because we don't, let me reach on the shelf here and give you this IoT solution. But what this IntelliSite Broad Sky combination does, and we have a holding company over the two of us called Epic.io, is gives us the capability of providing an end-to-end solution, but also just really trying to find what that customer problem is and solve it. And I am telling you, I'm doing a large amount of my activity right now is on the IoT and the connectivity piece that comes with that IoT. If you've heard the buzzword and your business and you're looking how to improve operating efficiency, improve safety, security, and just get your hands on the data that you're throwing away that runs your business, they should reach out to you. We can do some discovery calls and see if we can provide some solutions.
That's awesome.
Excellent.
So,
Excellent.
Todd, thank you so much for being a guest with us today.
Thank you, Todd.
It was my pleasure. I enjoyed it.
I'm sure we're going to, as we evolve, we'll maybe dive into another episode of the Internet of Things and really get into exactly what that, I mean, it's a broad spectrum of conversation.
We could dive deeper into it with you on the next episode.
Right.
I'd love to talk to you about it, and I appreciate you guys having me on.
So the last question we have, and it's what we ask every guest, is who is your favorite basketball player of all time? It does not have to be the best. Who your favorite is of all time?
Well, it's easy because my favorite is the best of all time. Michael Jordan.
Okay. All right.
I'm of the age. Michael's only I think he's a year younger than me. So his career greatly influenced what I care about the NBA. Now, I would say my second, which does show my age as a kid, and I love the Big O back in the day. That guy.
Oscar Robertson.
Oscar Robertson. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
But yeah, Michael, I know that's probably the stock
It's
answer,
not.
but man,
That's all right. He was incredible.
He was.
He was incredible. No doubt.
Our last guest was LeBron. I think that's what he went with.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think that's a pat answer.
That's somebody that's less than 40 is what it is.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no
for
doubt.
sure.
No doubt.
Thank you again, Todd. Thank you, Alex, for another great show.
Thank you, Mike.
Please like, share, and follow us on all the different podcast platforms. And that is it. Please dominate your competition with technology.
Thanks for listening. If you'd like to contact us, reach out at 239-215-4200. That's 239-215-4200. Or email us at info@sixmanpodcast.com. This segment of the Six Man Podcast is brought to you by the production team and M&M Multimedia. At M&M, we make media that makes you learn, laugh, cry, or buy.